Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Rundown. A2DRadio.com. Ralph Delavecchio. Frank Vespi on the ones and twos. Look at you two. Look at you two. You got full bodysuits. Frank's in Western Kentucky outfits. Got the shirt, the hat. You got the matching shorts over there, Frank? Oh, no, not you. This one, you got the hat, you got the shirt, got the shorts that are clearly Coastal Carolina colors.
The Chanticleers.
Yeah. And it says football, not baseball.
Making their first season as an FBS member this year.
Are they really?
Yep.
Oh, well, they're
Are they really? I'm wearing their shit, and I don't even know that this is going to be their first year in FBS.
That's how irrelevant they are.
Then why are you decked out head to toe in them? Even your shoes are Chanticleer colors.
Yeah, okay.
They're black.
Black and white, the regular Nikes.
That's Chanticleer colors.
Get out of here.
Who in your family goes to Coastal Carolina?
Nah, my mom went down there for her job, so she just grabbed me this, and there you go.
If your job took you to Conway, South Carolina. Oh.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
That'd be something.
Would it take her to Myrtle Beach and she
Yeah.
just made a little bit of a road trip?
Yeah, Myrtle Beach.
My job took me to Myrtle Beach. I'm not going anywhere else but Myrtle Beach. How about that? Like
That'd be fun.
I would not accidentally end up in Conway. What is there anything else in Conway besides Coastal Carolina, Frank? You would know. You're the irrelevant fact person.
I've never been to Conway, South Carolina.
Good for you.
The last time I've been to
I hope I never have to go either.
What division are they going to be in?
Sun Belt.
Oh, yeah, the irrelevant conference.
Yeah, they won't be bowl eligible until 2020 or something.
They're going to go beat his WKU Hilltoppers.
No, we're going to beat them.
Nah.
Let's see what they got in Conway, South Carolina. Well, they got a
18,000 people. Was that like?
They got 19,000 people.
Oh, how I nailed that number.
Yeah.
How about that? How about that? I'm within
let's
1,000.
see.
I'm within 1,000.
What do they have?
Probably Burger Kings and McDonald's.
Yeah, just a bunch of.
They do have a gorgeous lake out there or something,
Yep.
don't they?
Yep, they do. Lake. What's it?
From what I understand,
Well,
that
not a
campus
lake,
is actually pretty, it's
Oh,
a pretty
yeah.
gorgeous campus.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's a lake or what it is, but
It's a river.
It's a river?
The Waccamaw River
leads probably into the ocean, huh?
leads. Oh, duh. It's not going to lead to like.
Yeah, it's not running down. It's not like the Mississippi running
Yeah.
down into like 6 other states. And,
Right.
It's not doing that.
Yeah. That's what they have at Conway, South Carolina.
Where'd you buy the shorts? Like, where was
Kohl's.
So they got Coastal Carolina shorts at Kohl's?
Yeah, I just grabbed them.
I don't know. That's a weird color, but it matches perfectly with the rest of your Coastal
Yeah.
Carolina nonsense. That shirt would be a dress on me.
Yeah. It's a 3X.
A 3X.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Ain't nothing wrong with going to 3X.
I still wear a schmedium in certain things.
Really?
A
I thought
schmedium.
it was a child small, but all right.
It's a schmedium. It's an adult
schmedium.
schmedium. Yeah,
Schmedium.
don't
It'll
come
be
from.
a good nightgown for you.
Don't make me come for your life, Frank.
My
I
shirt would
have
be a
inside
good
information.
My
Mama
shirt would-
Vespi has told me things.
Oh, no.
You don't want me to put you on blast. It's an adult schmedium. Get it right.
Yeah. My
The
shirt would be
Rundown-
a nightgown for you.
Yes, it would, pretty much. Except I don't wear clothes when I sleep because I'm a real G.
You don't wear pajamas to bed, bro?
No, hell no. Clothes are
That's
too
the
hot.
gangster way.
Just let my dick swing loose, man. Just gotta let it swing free.
Get them footy pajamas down at your kneecaps.
Exactly. The Rundown, A2DRadio.com. We're live in the BMW of Atlantic City studios. BMW of AtlanticCity.com. Easy to get 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. 6037 on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township. 609-568-9200. And we're all fired up. As you can tell, there's a lot of excitement in the building. Eagles training camp is
Starts Monday.
almost here.
Finally. Something that I can talk about other than the goddamn Phillies.
Well, listen, finally, we could have something positive to talk about with the Phillies here in a couple of weeks, too.
They ain't doing that trade.
Hey, listen, you never know.
As much as I want it,
Why wouldn't they do it?
they won't do it.
Why won't they do it?
Because it's the Phillies. They pipe everything up. Then they won't do it.
Christian Yelich is going to – he's pretty much – he fits that. Well,
Imagine
him and Stanton
both of
both
them.
fit.
Imagine them both in Citizens Bank Park.
Well, and they both fit. It's not like, you're talking about a 30-year-old established superstar here.
Yeah.
You're talking about two kids. Yelich is, what, not even 25?
Yeah.
Stanton.
24.
Stanton's, what, 26? 27, if that? I don't even think he's that. He's 26 years old or whatever it is now? So, I mean, you're talking about two guys that still fit that youth movement that you're talking about. Let's be honest, there's nobody in our minor league system that's ever going to be anything that Giancarlo Stanton has become. Okay? We could keep dreaming that Rhys Hoskins might become Giancarlo Stanton. He won't. There's a reason Stanton was up in the big leagues.
Trading the whole house?
I'm not trading Sixto Sanchez. He throws 102. He's playing in Lakewood.
Yeah, Lakewood right now.
Not trading him. You can't have Sixto Sanchez. He's a future top-of-the-rotation guy. If you could find a way to make that trade and Stanton and Yelich are here, and then you have Sanchez as your future number one, that's just a dirty team right there.
You're going to give away Nola?
I'll give away Nola. It's fine. I mean, has he been impressive this year? It's been impressive what he's been able to do, and seems like he's finally found himself. He could be a number 2 or a really good number 3 on a championship team. But he's expendable when you're talking about Stanton and Yelich.
Yeah.
People don't give Yelich enough credit. This kid's going to be he's going to win batting titles. I mean, this kid's going to be and we have a kid in our system in Mickey Moniak who, if you compare him to any big league player right now and say, who does he remind you of, as a prospect, who is the player you would most like him to grow into, he looks like Christian Yelich. That's the guy that you're hoping he grows into and becomes as a player in this organization.
Yeah.
They're both tall, lanky, good hitters. They both have solid approaches at the plate, really good line drive hitters. With a guy like Yelich, the powers come a little bit later on now. He's a guy that's not out of the question to think maybe he can hit 20 homers, all of a sudden. Whereas,
well, you stick him in Citizens Bank Park, he might hit 25.
Yelich, Yelich being a guy that hits 20 homers in this ballpark is not crazy.
Yeah.
If he hits close to 300 every year with 20 homers, I mean, you're talking about a really, really valuable player now. And I think Yelich is a guy that, 300 might be on the low side. This is a guy that could hit 320, 330 and win you a batting title at some point. So, if you're talking about both of them being in the deal, I'm probably not giving up Mickey Moniak, and I'm not giving up Sixto Sanchez.
Yeah, and any of those two, you can't touch. Everybody else you can have. Pick out 10 guys you want, you can have
I mean, as much as I like Rhys Hoskins as a prospect, he's already 23 years old.
Yeah.
Yelich is a year older than he is. Stanton's, 2 years older than he is. And they're both established superstars. And Stanton in this ballpark is freaky. I mean, the ideas of what he would do in this ballpark is scary.
If he's hitting bombs like he's doing out in Marlins Park, imagine what he can do in Citizens Bank Park for 41 home games. Whew. Oh my!
81 home games.
Oh yeah, 81. Yeah,
80.
I was thinking 82.
Yeah, you're thinking hockey and basketball. 81 home games.
Oh.
So what's that equal? 80 homers. We're gonna average a home run per game. That's what. You know what? Whenever we play him, it seems like that's what he hits against us. Every time we play him, he hits a home run each game against the Phillies. That's Giancarlo Stanton.
How many home runs did he have against us in that series?
I don't know.
About 5, right?
He's been a Philly killer in his career.
He had 2 in one game. He had another one in the first inning, so that's 3.
Yeah.
He might have close to 5 home runs in that series.
He hit one in each game of the series, and he had a 2 home run game in the one game of the series.
Yeah, so close to 5.
So what was it? A 3-game series or a 4-game series?
3.
So he had 4 home runs in the series.
Yeah.
So he had 2 home runs in one game, and then a home run in the other 2. So yeah, he had 4 home runs in a 3-game series. But I've heard people say that if you would trade, if we'd give up Hoskins and Cousins and all these prospects to get Giancarlo Stanton and Christian Yelich, that you're stupid or you're crazy or you're an idiot. I think if you don't give up those guys to get these 2 guys, you're stupid. People keep talking about his contract. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, really?
You're going to have to pay somebody that money one of these days.
I mean, we're in a market where, we don't care. Like, that World Series money from 08 is still doing plenty good. Okay, we've got so much money that we're sitting on right now, it's not a problem. I don't care about his 10-year, $320 million contract. It's just not a big deal.
That is a lot of money, but, dude, let's take it on. I don't care.
Harper's going to sign a $400 million contract at some point.
Yeah.
Manny Machado is probably going to sign a contract pretty close. Frank, what are you doing over here?
I had this terrible sneeze, and it's killing my arm.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
It's killing your heart.
Arm.
Your arm.
Arm.
Is it your left or your right one?
My right one.
Oh, so it's not a heart attack.
No, it's not a heart attack.
Yeah, so you're good.
So having a heart attack.
Nah,
That makes a baker's dozen for me now.
It's that doubled with the world's worst sunburn on my shoulders right now, and like today the skin.
The world's worst sunburn.
Yeah, I'm like turning into a
Remember
lobster.
who you're talking to here, Mr. Vespi. I know a thing or two about the world's worst sunburn.
Yeah, because I had to witness the world's worst sunburn.
Yes. So don't make false claims.
I'm not making
That's
false
fake
claims.
news.
Yeah,
No.
CNN.
Fake
No,
news.
It's like the
CNN.
worst.
You
No,
got the
it's
right
not.
colors on for CNN.
I know. Nice red and
White and black.
red, white, and black. Perfect. All I need to do is break out some suspenders, and I can turn into Larry King. So
I love Larry King.
don't we all love Larry King?
Larry King's a flat-out pimp.
We need him on
Okay.
this show.
Like, Larry King's been married like 5 times.
Yeah.
Like,
All on Fridays.
Larry,
Because, man, I love Fridays.
Larry King is a pimp. Back in the day, like, I feel like Larry King was rolling around in a Cadillac Cutlass Supreme, like all the pimps, like Hugh Hefner. like Larry King was pimping in the 80s.
Oh,
Don't tell
yeah.
me he wasn't. I'm convinced.
He is a pimp.
Larry King was a ladies' man.
Yeah.
Why do you think he wears those suspenders? Something's got to hold that dick up in place.
Oh.
Telling you, Larry King is pimping. Larry King's he's an ugly dude, right? An old ugly dude. You seen some of his ex-wives?
Money can get you
Larry
anything.
King is a pimp.
Money can get you anything.
So can
Yep.
being a pimp. Maybe being a combination of the two. He's a pimp and he got money, so oh my God, the type of ass he was getting. Think about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
He's some ugly old Jewish guy.
Well,
And the
duh.
type
Really
of
Jewish?
ass he was
Yeah,
getting.
he's Jewish.
King.
He's,
Come on, it's a,
he's Orthodox Jews.
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, this ugly old
Yeah.
Jewish guy and the type of ass he got. And it's not like he was any better looking when he was younger in his career. I mean, he's always been an ugly dude. He's just a pimp.
Man,
He's got money.
I wish I was hideous.
No
and
other
had money like
explanation.
that.
Well, you got the hideous part down, so you're halfway there.
All right.
Yeah.
mean,
Maybe in 20 years the money side will catch up.
I mean, we all do have faces for radios, so.
Listen, I'm a sexy dude. Stop it with that. I have it on good authority that I'm pretty. I'm girl pretty.
Yeah.
See my eyes, Ralph?
Well,
yeah,
These
bro.
eyes, these are girl pretty eyes.
Well,
Yeah.
according to the M&M's building in New York, apparently I have sparkling eyes, so I can one-up you on that.
No, you can't.
Yes,
No, you really
yes.
can't.
The M&M building?
No, you really
The
can't.
M&M's
He's
world.
got no clue.
The M&M's world in New York City.
Every girl that I come across falls in love with my eyes. I've only had one girl ever that's ever been in love with me. I've had about 10 different girls that have been in love with my eyes. And then once their love affair with my eyes wears off,
Was one of them Joanne?
No. It wasn't.
She'd be one of those persons.
But one of them was Christina.
You just throwing names out there now?
That's his mom. He named
It's not Christina.
Joanne's my mom.
Christine's my mom.
So, Christine says so, I had to throw his mom back, One of them was Tina.
But not the Tina that I know.
Your mom, yes, that's exactly the one I'm referring to.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a completely different Tina.
Tina.
Oh,
No, I'm
Frank's
talking
got-
about Tina.
Frank's got
Tina.
2 moms
The
now?
Tina. The one and only Tina.
Frank, how many moms you got?
One.
If you don't count my mom as your second mom, then yeah, you've got one mom. I would love to count his mom as my second mom, but his mom doesn't like me.
Yeah, but my uncles love you.
My,
so
yeah,
it's
well,
hilarious.
your uncles love me. Do they really?
Yeah, they've been asking about you for. They're like, oh,
His Uncle Vito is like the coolest person ever.
He's like, oh,
he's like straight out of the mafia. Like it's the
he's
most
like-
wonderful thing.
He was like, how's Zach doing? I'm like, he's doing great. So.
I've got a special bond with his Uncle Vito.
Yeah. Side money?
Yeah. I'd love if that was the no comment, Ralph. We're live and there's too many witnesses at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Vito loves me. His mom thinks I'm a criminal. His mom thinks I'm in jail.
It's a stupid joke that she comes up with where she's like, oh, is Zach in prison? Are you going to visit Zach
Like
in
when
prison?
we went to Vegas last year with him and his parents, his mom was like, "Oh, they're letting him out of jail so he can come on the trip with us." Like,
Damn.
I don't know why she thinks
That's
I'm such a
cold,
criminal.
dude.
Because she thinks she's trying to be funny. That's what it is, basically. She's trying to be funny,
And it's not really funny.
and it's not really funny at all.
What's today, Ralph?
Man, I love Fridays.
MILF, right?
Yeah.
Yo, you speaking of MILFs? Yo, Christine is a MILF.
Don't.
Tina
No.
is a
Stop.
flat-out
Stop.
MILF.
Frank's getting mad, dude.
I'm not. I'm getting a bit ruffled.
I don't know why you'd be mad. That's a good thing. High five to Tina.
I mean, she's a pretty woman, but I just don't like it when other people say.
She's a flat-out MILF.
Exactly.
Or what is it? Man, I love Fridays?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love Tina.
Don't get Larry King in here.
Yeah,
MILF.
wife number 6. Wife number 6.
Yeah. Don't get Larry King in here.
So,
Jesus.
well, yeah, so we're obviously very excited about the Eagles in training camp, as you can tell. There's been
yeah.
a lot of it, we've come out firing from like minute number 1 of the show. We have not held anything back.
Oh,
And Ralph,
yeah.
Ralph mentioned training camp starting Monday.
Yep.
I'll be there.
Well, of course you'll be there. You get to give us some first-hand knowledge on how some of the guys look, how Alshon Jeffrey looks.
I mean, from what I'm seeing, like I've seen like footage from
Videos don't cut it for me. I'm sorry.
You got,
but-
I need you that you're gonna be there in person.
I'll be there
I
in
need your
person.
first-hand account.
I'll be there
Yeah.
in person.
I trust your opinion, Frank.
I don't care what the Eagles post on their Twitter, their Facebook. The videos don't count for me. You can cut out all the bad plays and put the good plays in there and make them look tremendous.
I love the fact that they were
They
all
have
up in North
Nelson
Dakota.
Aguilar. They have Nelson Aguilar
Yeah.
catching balls and
Yeah.
shit like that.
Did you see where they were staying with Carson
Yeah,
Wentz
in
in North
Fargo.
Dakota?
Yeah.
Did you see that gorgeous property he
Yeah.
has in North Dakota? I didn't know they made that property that gorgeous up there.
Well, what is there to do in North
Oh
Carolina?
my God!
Hunt and build houses.
North Dakota.
Hunting, build
North Dakota,
houses.
yeah.
You said North Carolina.
You almost
but-
said North
I did-
Carolina.
did I
Yeah,
say
you said that's like two completely different
I
areas.
mean, you're talking about North Dakota, and you're wearing a Coastal Carolina shirt,
Yeah.
so it's like it all gets mingled together.
Yeah, it was gorgeous up
Did I
there. The
really
picture
see-
I
Oh, yeah.
saw, they were sitting around like some bonfire on like
yeah,
some waterfront
they,
somewhere.
They were like doing paddleboarding and
what is
shit.
it? What is it? Lake Fargo? I mean, what the hell's up there?
I don't.
It's probably
I've
called
never
Lake
been.
Carson.
It's one of the great. It is. It's Lake
Probably,
Carson
it's probably
now.
Lake Carson because it's like
It's no longer Fargo, North Dakota. It's Wenceldelphia.
Pennsylvania.
Wenceldelphia.
Fargo. What's in Fargo?
Probably Burger
Lake
Kings and
Fargo. I mean, what
McDonald's.
type of what do you got? One of the Great Lakes up there.
No, you're like farmland.
So what body of water was he on?
Probably a lake. I don't know which lake, but probably like a. Let's find out.
You think they have Burger King up in North Dakota?
They probably do. They probably have a Burger King.
It's probably
up there.
not even real meat. It's probably like geese meat.
It's probably like horse meat or something.
Moose,
Moose
yeah.
meat.
They're so close
elk
to,
meat.
They're so close to Canada.
Yeah. Moose, horse, something.
Well, I'm telling you this. The videos don't count. Okay?
Unless it's a video from you.
Yeah.
We need an official A2DRadio.com video to prove our point. And I'm
But
very
they had
excited.
Nelson Aguilar catching balls, dude.
Well, and you know what?
That's not good.
I'm starting to think. Damn it, he's getting them all out of his system now.
Yeah.
No, you know what this is? You know what this is? He was wearing the wrong number. Okay, 17 was an unlucky number for him. Alshon came and took his number and didn't give him any choice and said, "You going to give me that number? Because I'm Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear number 17."
And I'll take your baby mama.
You know, and now he's had, Aguilar's had to switch numbers, and now he's wearing a different number, and all of a sudden he looks like a completely different player. He's gone from not being able to catch a cold
They're catching a cold.
to being able to, catch everything.
Yeah.
He couldn't catch a cold last year. Now
Alshon took his number and his baby mama.
took his belt and his girl.
Yeah.
Adrian Broner style.
Christ.
Adrian Broner's about to fight this. He's got a fight
stinks,
coming up.
dude.
Broner's just a head case.
He's so bad.
He's just a head case.
He's
He's
with the money
funny.
team, ain't he?
He was. Now he's not. He was until, Mayweather threw him out of the money team because he was getting in too much trouble. Mayweather said I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know if he was a championship fighter, whether he was a criminal, whether he was both. Like I couldn't figure it out. Like what does he want to be? A champion or a criminal? Because if you want to be both, there's no room for you here on the money team.
Yeah.
The money team. They've been playing everybody for a fool. Mayweather and
It's not
McGregor.
gonna happen, but I hope McGregor whacks that ass.
They've been playing everybody for a fool. Traveling on the same jet.
It's probably going to be like some elaborate practical joke. I'm waiting for
It's
something
going
to
to turn
happen.
into Rocky against Hulk Hogan from like Rocky 2 or whatever it was.
Rocky 3.
Rocky 3. Good. Whatever. You know the movie. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to turn into that type of promotional event.
McGregor's just gonna get in the ring and just fall.
They
down.
both throw a punch. It'll be like the finger poke of doom
Yeah.
from WCW.
Yeah.
They both throw a punch. They're in each other's faces, ready to fight, and then they just both poke each other and fall back.
Yeah. Double count out.
It's a double 10 count.
How pissed would people be? Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm not paying $100, so only the only people that are going to be mad are the people paying $100. I'm just going to stream it illegally for free, and
Of course.
like a normal person, because that's what normal people do nowadays.
Well, my brother's going to watch it as always
You
because.
paying for the fight?
Well, he's paying for the fight. I'm not watching it.
Or you can always go to a bar and pay the $10 cover charge and get in and watch the fight on the TV. I don't like that, though, because then you watch it with too many ignorant fight fans that have no idea what the hell they're talking about and are going to be convinced, like every time McGregor even throws a punch in the direction of Mayweather, that it landed clean and that he hit. Like it's like I didn't want to watch the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight with other fight fans because like every other fight fan you watched that fight with was convinced that Pacquiao was winning that fight. Like, oh, look right there. He just hit him. Like, no, he didn't. Mayweather rolled his shoulder up, and Pacquiao's left hand hit Mayweather's shoulder. They didn't hit nothing. Like, that's not a landed punch. It's not anything.
I'll tell you this: Mayweather goes into fights the same way. He comes out the same way.
When's the last time you saw his face look messed up?
Yeah.
He never comes out with a messed up. And I was talking to somebody the other day that stuck of it. Oh, I don't know about that. They're convinced McGregor's going to beat Mayweather. Oh, I don't know about that. I think McGregor's going to win. That guy's a fighter, man. Mayweather's not even the best fighter in the world anymore. He just lost to Pacquiao that last fight. I was like, he didn't lose to Pacquiao. Oh, don't tell me. Somebody tried to tell me, don't tell me I used to be a fighter. Ooh, like, great. And I've worked in sports radio for how long now? Like, when all three judges scored it 117 to 111, that's called domination.
Yeah.
Like, the only person that thought Pacquiao won that fight was Pacquiao in his corner. The only people.
Well, he got screwed over on that Jeff Horn fight.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, but he should have seen that one coming. That's his own fault for letting it get to a decision. You decided to fight a guy in his own hometown, in his own home country. Let me go fight an Australian guy in Australia.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea to let this get to a decision. That's Pacquiao's fault. Pacquiao should have ended that fight without it ever getting to a decision. If he knocks him out cold, it don't ever come to that.
Yeah.
Didn't knock him out. That's your fault.
Yep.
Before we go to a commercial break here, let's get the question out there for everybody that's listening. Obviously, if you've been on our Facebook page, been on our Twitter, you've seen it, probably already commenting and giving your reaction to it.
We do have a few comments.
The Eagles, Doug Peterson came out this past week with the comment that he thinks this Eagles team is just as talented as those Packers Super Bowl teams of the 1990s.
What do you say to that?
Well, it's not even close, but, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing that he's showing confidence in this team, but for all intents and purposes, it's a pretty open and shut, simple question. Are the Eagles just as talented as the Packers Super Bowl teams of the 90s? Yes or no? And if you say yes, you're just a homer, and we're going to rip you apart for being a homer. And if you say no, we really want to know why you feel that way, like give your legitimate reasons for no. You can't just be like no because it's, obviously we're not as good. No, and why? Like what do we need to do then to, what needs to change? What talent, what positions on this team need to get better in order to get to that level that the Packers were at?
Well, I ask you this before we go to break. If the Eagles don't make the playoffs this year, is Dougie P on the hot seat?
He should be. I don't think he will be. But if you don't make the playoffs this year, he should be fired.
Yeah,
100%.
With all that talent around him?
He should be fired.
Cool. It's a lot of good
You can't go 7-9 last year, get this much better this offseason, or on paper, get as better as you did. On paper this offseason, we've gotten much better.
Yeah. With this season, you got to have more than 10 wins this year.
You went 7-9 last year. On paper, I mean, the improvements you've made on paper it's night and day.
Yeah.
You've got a playmaker at receiver. Okay? You're going to have, for all intents and purposes, a better offensive line, a more consistent offensive line this year.
If Lane Johnson doesn't do them.
Correct.
God.
You've upgraded your defensive line. Timmy Jernigan's here.
Yeah.
Derek Barnett, supposed to be a big-time player. get a lot of, play a lot early on and have an impact. Chris Long's in here. Brandon Graham obviously is hoping to continue on where he left off last year and have another good year.
Fletcher Cox.
Timmy Jernigan's going to help Fletcher Cox have a better year this year. Jordan Hicks is, everybody that you listen to around football, they think he's one of the top linebackers in football now. Yeah. You should be a better football team this year. Your secondary's better. You should be a better football team this year than you were last year.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz is going to have a better year this year just because.
Well, he better.
For me, the one thing I'm still very concerned about is Doug Peterson. And that's the reason I don't want Doug Peterson coming out making these comments. That 90s Packers team had something that this team does not have. Mike Holmgren, who's going to be a Hall of Famer pretty damn soon. I don't know why he isn't already. Took 2 different teams to a Super Bowl as a head coach. Won a Super Bowl as a head coach. Yeah. How about his coaching tree? Look at all the people that have come from his coaching tree to going on to become head coaches. Andy Reid, John Gruden, Steve Mariucci. And then the list goes on from there.
Telling you, man, the Eagles better make the playoffs this year.
So, I have zero faith, and I haven't had, you guys have all know me. I didn't have faith in didn't like the Doug Peterson hiring when it happened.
Oh, hell
didn't
no.
like it after it happened.
Yeah.
Didn't like it at any point last year in the regular season. Still don't like it now. He still has a lot to prove. People that are defending Doug Peterson, they're the people, the only reason they're defending him is because there's too hardcore Eagle fans. There are too much of hardcore Eagle fans to just call it like they see it. Because if you call it like you see it, you saw a lot of shaky, sketchy things last year on Doug Peterson's part that make you scratch your head and that should make you a little bit concerned. Yeah, it's easy for me to just sit here and say, well, I think he learned from some of those rookie mistakes he made last year as a head coach and he'll be better this year. That's easy to say.
Yeah.
What evidence is there that he's learned from any of that?
What is it for me, man? For Dougie P, he's got to cut down on the going down. If you're in field goal range and it's 4th and 2,
you take the points.
Yeah, you take
the
goddamn points.
How many times do you need to? He cost the team 2 games last year for doing that.
Yeah, the Giants and the Cowboys.
The Giants game was straight up. I mean, you lost by 5 points, and you went for it twice on 4th down and didn't get it.
And you were in field goal range.
You kick 2 field goals, you win that game.
Yeah.
I mean, people could say, "Oh, well, no, there's no other way around it." You lost by 5 points. You kick 2 field goals there, you win the game. You can't say that. Yes, I can, because there's 6 points. You win by 1.
Yeah.
That's really the bottom line. They sit here and say, oh, well, if he kicks the field goal initially, that changes the whole landscape of the game and other things. That's all bullshit. That's excuses. I'm not embracing those excuses. That's football 101.
Yeah.
There were some things I saw him do as a coach that's coaching 101. You don't do that. You want to go for it on 4th and 1, inside field goal range. Okay, that's risky enough as it is. Then on 4th and 1, when you do an end around and hand it off on a reverse to Aguilar, now it becomes the worst football decision I've seen in a long time. It's risky enough to go for it on 4th and 1.
Or when you're in your field goal range against Dallas and he throws a halfback screen to Darren Sproles and gets out of field goal range.
Right, exactly.
Or what was it?
And you came out completely unprepared against the Bengals.
It was 4th quarter against in the Dallas game. And I think it was 1st down and 10, and they did that little trick play with Josh Huff.
That whole sequence of play calling in that Cowboys game was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
There was a screen pass.
The screen pass.
They had the trick play.
Yeah.
The trick play.
And then after the trick play is when they ran the bubble screen and lost 5 yards.
Yeah. And they got out of field goal
range.
range.
And then, were they out of field goal range or were they not? Because it was a 53-yard attempt that they just never tried.
Yeah. And Sturgis hit a 53-yard at half.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't even like they were out of field goal range.
Yeah. And guess what? The roof was closed that night too.
In today's NFL, you kick a 53-yard field goal every chance you get.
Yeah.
Unless it's like 4th and inches.
It's so hard to get points in this league, and when teams allow you to get into field goal range, and you go on 4th down and 1, and you don't get it, that's 3
but
points.
he didn't even go on 4th. It was like 4th and like 7 or whatever after that, and that's why they punted it.
Well, I'm talking about the Giants game.
Well, that's just inexcusable.
Well, he hit 2 times. It was 4th down and 1.
After not getting it the first time, you have to kick it the second time.
Yeah.
You didn't get it the first time, and then you decide, let's go for it again the second time.
And then that, oh my God.
And it wasn't much better of a play call the second time either.
Then
I'd
that
ra-
stretch.
I'd rather you have a
play.
yeah. I'd rather you have a QB sneak.
Then that stretch play for Ryan Matthews in
No,
the
they
Detroit game.
they gave it to Sproles.
What are you talking about? In the Detroit game?
No, in the Giants game, the second time they went for it on fourth down, they gave it to Sproles.
And he tried to run it up the middle. He didn't get it.
Right. I'd rather you just sneak it at that
Yeah.
point. The first time we're handing it off to Aguilar on an end around, it was one of the dumbest play calls I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
Then we're going for it for a second time, and doesn't get it with
Sproles
Sproles.
up the middle, yeah.
And the funniest thing about it is, like, everybody in the stadium knew it was a bad decision. I had people that I'm friends with that were there that were saying the whole stadium started booing as soon as they came out to go for it on 4th and 1 the second time.
Yeah.
The Darren Sproles play. After they didn't get it the first time they went for it on 4th down, they came out a couple drives later to go for it on 4th down, and the whole stadium, 60,000 people, break out in boos. Pretty much telling Doug Peterson, this is a terrible decision. Why are you doing this again?
Yeah.
And he did it again.
And they didn't get it.
That game is on Doug. The Cowboys game, that fourth quarter, is on Doug. That Bengals game, looking that unprepared, is on Doug.
Yeah. That Detroit game is on Doug. You don't run a stretch.
Well, I mean, Ryan
You run it
Matthews.
up the middle with Ryan Matthews on third down.
That
and
might be
two,
fine, but
Zach.
Ryan Matthews has to hold on to the football. I mean, I'm not blaming Doug for Matthews fumbling the football. Like
Still though,
Matthews,
dude,
Matthews
big-
has to hold on to the ball. We can't be Sean Watson coming in here, the next day talking about how, Ryan has never been comfortable carrying the ball in his right hand to the right side. He's naturally left-handed and he always carries the ball in his left arm, and he's not comfortable going to the right side. He never has been. Not in his youth, not in high school, not in college, not even ever in his NFL days. So why, if you're Doug Peterson, would you call a running play to the right? That's bullshit. Don't make excuses, Sean, just because you're boning his mother, okay?
Was boning
That's
his
true.
mother.
He was boning mommy. He was boning Mama Matthews.
Maybe that's why Ryan was uncomfortable in the first place,
I don't know.
And Sean was at that game too.
Yeah, well, of course. And then he had to defend, he had to defend his boy. He had to defend his stepson. That's his child, He's the stepdaddy.
He's got baby mama drama.
And, he wanted to avoid baby mama drama. That's why he couldn't criticize him.
Oh, jeez.
So he had to come in here and defend him. That's not on Doug. You just got to hold on to the football there if you're Ryan Matthews. But there's still there's three other examples of games that are 100% on Doug. The Giants in the first Cowboys game, and then that Bengals game where you're that unprepared.
Bungles. Yeah.
You're down 29-0, and it wasn't even it was an ugly 29-0.
It was.
You looked ugly.
And
in that
I
football
was
game.
at that game, and I wanted to jump in the freezing Ohio
So
River
you
because
know
that
how ugly
performance
it
was
looked
bad.
because you were there firsthand.
I was there firsthand.
That was an ugly performance.
That was probably a game. Obviously, they should have won, but
Easily.
Easily.
But the Bengals were a train wreck last year.
Yeah, they were.
They were an absolute train wreck. So to come out and go down 29-0 right away to that train wreck of a football team in the Bengals shows how unprepared you were.
Oh yeah.
It was just
Telling you,
bad.
man, if he don't make the playoffs, he better be on that hot seat.
Yeah.
He won't be though, because he's Jeffrey's golden boy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is we've been over this a million times. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. It's the three fucking Stooges, Jeffrey, Howie, and Dougie, and they're all in this together. Like, it's not like this is going to change. The only way he gets fired is if they win, 3 games this year, and it's not going to happen. We're winning more than that by accident.
We better hit more than 10 wins, I'll tell you that.
There could be a strike in the middle of the
With this
football
talent on
season.
this- with the talent on this football team, we should win more than 10
I
games.
mean, at this point, it's got to be playoffs or bust for the Eagles this year.
Yeah, it's playoff or bust. I don't know if you could put a win number on it because the East is probably going to be tough again.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have a tough schedule, but you need to you need to make the playoffs. If you're not a playoff team this year,
right.
that's just a disappointment.
Yeah.
And I would fire Doug Peterson over
I'm
it.
not mad at you, Doug.
Personally.
I'm disappointed in you.
You think Andy ever calls him like that, like being the father figure? Doug, listen, I'm not mad.
Douglas.
Doug
not-
probably calls him Douglas. Listen here, Douglas, okay? I'm not mad.
that you went for
Okay, I'm just disappointed. You didn't learn that from the Andy Reid School of Coaching, okay? That's where you learn that's where you learn the bad play calling and clock management. You learn that at my school.
You've been playing too much Madden.
You didn't learn how to go for it on 4th and 1 and do it and call it.
The Madden
Yeah,
sticks, man.
I didn't teach you how to call a reverse on 4th and 1 inside field goal range. I didn't teach you that. I taught you how to mismanage the clock.
Yeah.
That's what I taught you.
10 minutes left in the game, down by 10.
I taught you
run
that.
The clock down to 1 minute and 45 seconds. Then you scored a touchdown.
Don't you dare make me look bad. I'll take credit for you not knowing how to manage a goddamn clock. I'm not taking credit for you and your shitty play calling and going for it and calling an end around on 4th and 1. Douglas,
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
Now you listen to Daddy. You make the
Yes.
goddamn playoffs.
Now, you do what Daddy says.
You make the goddamn playoffs.
That'd be awesome. If those are the conversations he has with Andy on the daily.
Jeez. That'd be something.
No, I mean, for me, but I kind of feel like I'm in the minority because there's too many people that are, you just got to give him a chance. You can't judge the guy after 1 year. Yeah, you can, because I trust my eyes. And, there's just certain decisions.
And you hit it on the head last year. He looked overwhelmed a lot last year.
There's just certain decisions, like I said, coaching 101, there's certain decisions. Like Barry Switzer with the Cowboys. Yeah, I know they won a Super Bowl. I'm firing Barry Switzer the next day if I'm Jerry Jones when he does that old 4th and 1 nonsense with Emmitt Smith against the Eagles way back in the day. You don't remember that play. They stopped him again.
Yep.
There's the Merrill Reese call. And they stop him again. It was right before the 2-minute warning. We were playing the Cowboys. And was it Thanksgiving or was it right around that? It was late in the year, wasn't it, Frank? It was late in the year, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was I'm going to guess week 13, week 14.
And it was 95. They made the playoffs that year, right? It was they ended up being a big game because the Eagles made the playoffs.
I remember it was a big year for Ray Rhodes that year.
The Eagles made the playoffs that year under Ray Rhodes. They had a great defense, and they made the playoffs. And Barry Switzer, who was the head coach at Oklahoma, great recruiter, just terrible head football coach. And he got hired by Jerry Jones to be the new head coach for the Cowboys. And, I mean, they were absolutely loaded. Yeah, the offense, obviously, with Emmitt Smith and Irving and Troy Aikman and all that. But their defense, I mean, they had Deion Sanders and Darren Woodson and all those guys. They were loaded. They won the Super Bowl pretty much in spite.
It was a Week 15 game, by the way.
Week 15. They won the Super Bowl pretty much in spite of Barry Switzer, not because of Barry Switzer. There was a call in that game. It's 4th and inches, and, they're in Philadelphia Eagles territory. Literally, if they don't get it, the Eagles have 20 yards to go for a touchdown. It was like the Patriots play against the Colts from 7 years ago when they went for it on 4th and 2 and didn't get it.
Yeah.
Except Belichick had 3 Super Bowl rings in his pocket to fall back on in case he didn't make it happen, So, that was the big difference there. I can do this because I got 3 Super Bowl rings. Well, it was 4th and inches, and they were coming up on the 2-minute warning. And they snapped it and handed it off to Emmitt Smith, and he lost a yard, didn't even come close to getting it. But the officials blew it dead and said that the 2-minute warning had hit. So, therefore, the Cowboys got another chance at it. Yeah. And you'd think Barry Switzer would be like, well, since that just blew up in our face and we got lucky here and we're getting another chance, punt it. Just punt it. Nope. Let's go run the same exact play. And they handed off to Emmitt Smith again. And the Eagles stopped him again.
Yep.
Another couple-yard loss. And, the Eagles went on to win that football game, and they made the playoffs. And I can't remember exactly. I was young, but it's possible that if they didn't win that game, they don't make the playoffs. I think them winning that game ended up being huge as far as their chances of making the playoffs ended up becoming. I don't care if it's week 15 or not. I'm fine. I'll name myself head coach if I'm Jerry Jones the day after. I'm firing Barry Switzer that night.
I'm surprised he's not the head coach.
I would fire Barry Switzer that night. Because that's just coaching 101. That's a dumb coaching decision. You know what I'm saying? So, there's certain shit that, even if you don't want to fire, why is nobody scolding Doug over that? I want to hear a story from Tim McManus or somebody coming out of the Phillies, coming out of Eagles insiders that's telling me about Doug getting yelled at by Jeffrey Lurie or something after that Cowboys game. Yeah. And reports out of the Eagles facility, out of the NovaCare complex, was that Jeffrey Lurie was not happy with Doug Peterson and the way he mismanaged that, the final 10 minutes of that football game.
Who was the video?
I'd love to hear that. I just love to hear a story about it. Yeah. Even if there was nothing else to back it up other than that's what's being reported out of the NovaCare complex.
The child doesn't get yelled at. Come on now.
Really, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is your football team, Jeffrey. You own this goddamn team. You're okay with your head coach calling a reverse on 4th and 1?
You got to start putting people in your place.
Because I'm not. But no wonder you got the 3 stooges running this organization. That's not Jeffrey Lurie. He's not putting anybody in their place.
Yeah.
He's not going to sit here and put the foot down and say, this is the way it works. It's my football team. That's why he got Howie. Howie's Brown educated.
Jesus.
You know, we need Brown educated man. He's going to run things.
He's an accountant.
Right?
I guess.
Hire an Ivy League guy. He knows what he's doing. Let him run things. Why not?
Whatever.
What's your answer to the question? Eagles just as talented as the Packers Super Bowl
Hell
teams
no.
of the 90s? No? Hell no.
no.
Hell no should have been C. It should have been A,
Should've
yes,
been
B,
C.
no, or C, hell no.
Hell no.
That should have been another option. We're going to talk the Eagles training camp. We'll talk our expectations, some of the top stories from the offseason when we come back. We'll take a look at the talent on the team, whether they are good enough to be a legitimate contender in the NFC. And we'll also get into a little bit of Major League Baseball talk later on, the upcoming trade deadline and the possibility of the Giancarlo Stanton Christian Yelich trade. This is the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. We're brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, 856-889-3434. Visit the website, scanzanosports.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
This is the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. Mr. Vespi, do you have our YouTube page up and some of the comments and things like that?
Well, let me check the YouTube chat real quick. Nothing on there, but I know we do have a few comments on Facebook.
Well, what would they be?
Let me pull them up.
Let's see the feedback. Let's see any Dougie P fans, or maybe Dougie P haters,
Hopefully.
in our
All right, here we go.
Facebook comments.
All right, we have Greg Milikovic with 3 laughing emoji faces. We have Vinny Massington saying, "Come on, Doug P." Jeff Stadelman, motivation, but the Packers made the playoffs, if not the Super Bowl. So if at least no playoffs, by Doug Peterson, you're fired. Rob Povia saying, "No," but applaud Doug's bravado. And there's a comment written by me, so I'm not going to do that because I don't want to.
Is it bravado
be
though? Do you agree with
narcissist
that, Ralph?
about
Do
it.
you view that as bravado? I don't think Doug P is. I don't. Some guys have bravado. Like if Rex Ryan said something like that, you're like, that's just Rex being Rex.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of bravado with what he does. I really don't think that's Doug. I think if Doug says something, he truly feels that way. Like he's not saying something just for the bravado of saying it. Doug doesn't have that type of charisma and that type of personality. We've seen that over Doug's, 1 year here as the head coach, and then of what we knew of Doug before that. That's like Rex from the beginning. Rex is a very outlandish, bravado type
Yeah, he'll
character.
say whatever is on his
You
mind.
know what I'm saying? And but it's understood that you should probably, don't take it all seriously because that's just not. That's all part of his game.
Yeah.
Like you didn't take things that Rex Ryan said seriously because you understood there was a lot of bravado that went into it. Last year I thought we were going to the Super Bowl. This year I know we're going to the Super Bowl. Cool.
Yeah.
And I'll believe it when I see it.
Put
And
that
then,
pressure
and then
on.
you get the back-to-back AFC Championship games, and we're like, you know what? Got to give that man credit. He came out when nobody else believed it and said the Jets are going to go to the Super Bowl, and they came within one game of going to the Super Bowl. So
2 years in a row.
okay. I see. There's certain guys that are like that. I don't think that's Doug.
Yeah.
Doug's not a bravado guy in my book like that. Like I don't.
Like Doug keeps it inside of him.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I buy into this just being like a bravado trick.
Because Daddy Jeffrey's going to get him.
No, Daddy Andy, right? Andy's the daddy.
yeah.
Andy's calling up like, listen,
Uncle Jeffrey's going to get him.
Uncle Jeffrey,
oh,
Uncle
there you
Jeffrey.
go.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, Andy, was.
Give him the old backhand.
I would say
like
Andy
some
was
shit
more,
like that.
like Andy had more bravado to me than Doug, and even Andy wasn't a guy that you would describe as bravado-like, but he had more bravado than Doug at times. Let's go get a ham sandwich, stuff like that. That was bravado in Andy's own way.
And I think, yeah. See, that was the difference between Rex Ryan and Doug Peterson. Rex just said whatever was on his mind. He could care less what you thought.
But it was all part of
Yeah.
it was just all part of it. Like, okay, there's Rex talking out of his ass again. But Rex, I talk about the bravado. That was all like, instead of, Rex could say something like that because then all this focus would become on what Rex said rather than on his football team.
Yeah.
And when you were somebody like Rex, you'd rather the attention be on you. You can deal with all that. Keep the attention on me and off of my rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep the attention on what I've been saying and not on what Mark Sanchez is doing on the field.
And Mark Sanchez led him to 2 AFC championship games.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez stunk, but those 13 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, you stink. Your defense was world class, and one of the best defenses we'd seen in football in a long time. Especially those first couple years there.
Darrell Revis was getting picks every single game.
But if Rex doesn't talk in that way with all that type of bravado and the hot air, that there's a lot more attention on how much Mark Sanchez is struggling all of a sudden. And hey, are you guys good enough to win him with to win with him as your quarterback? Rex was able to keep all the attention off of anything like that and just keep it on the stupid shit he's saying.
Yeah.
Just like when he came out with the magazine that his wife or whatever was modeling in. Rex's wife, was trying, she was trying on shoes or something in this this magazine or something, and he was being funny, and he comes out and he's like, "You see this? You see this?" He's like, "That's my wife." He's like, "And I just want to make a point clear." He's like, "Tom Brady might be married to a supermodel. I am too." And it's we're playing
That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. It's all
great.
because nobody thinks you have any chance of beating the Patriots anyway.
Yeah.
There's going to be all these questions and all this attention
We're
on
in a one-sided division as it is.
Right, there's going to be all these questions and attention on that Patriots matchup, and what are you going to do to beat them? How do you beat them? And the first thing Rex does is come out and bring light to the fact that this is my wife here in this magazine that's wearing these shoes.
Yeah.
Apparently, Tom Brady's married to a model. I am too. Like, that's perfect. That's bravado.
It is.
That's bravado. I don't believe that's what Doug's doing here. I honestly think Doug was. I think Doug was trying to breed confidence in this team, which is why I don't necessarily have a problem with the
If
statements.
he wants to put the spotlight on him and let everybody just play football and don't have to worry about the pressure and all the other shit that comes outside of football, go ahead and do it. Take
why
as
not
much
just say?
pressures off
Why
of
not just
Carson.
say this is a Super Bowl football team, and nobody in this room has to believe that at the moment. But I'm telling you, every single person in this, in the NovaCare complex or in this complex, we believe it. This is a Super Bowl football team.
Yeah.
I guess we got to go prove it. Why come out with this silly comparison to the 90s Packers? Like, just why? Like, that's what I don't get about it. And that's what I'm saying. That's not bravado. Because if it was bravado, you just come out and say, listen, I know we've never won a Super Bowl. We've been the 2 in the history of this franchise. This right here is the greatest football team I've ever been around. This is a Super Bowl football team, and those are the expectations this year. We're going to go win a Super Bowl. If you want bravado or you want something that's going to bring attention, that does it better than making a silly comparison like this. You saw those reactions on Facebook, the laughy faces, and all that. Like, it's just silly. Like, just come out then and say we're a Super Bowl team. Gets the same point across. You're trying to build confidence that this football team, you feel like it's young, it's talented, you believe in them, maybe they're believing in one another. I've kind of got that feel from the offseason that forget about the coaching staff, the guys in that complex are starting to believe in one another a little bit.
They got 8 wide receivers for Carson.
Alshon Jeffrey comes in. He loves Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
It makes it clear from the beginning how special he thinks Carson Wentz is. So that now immediately helps build a relationship between those two. He's going to be the go-to guy. On top of that, every other receiver in that building is turning to Alshon Jeffrey for advice on how to get better, how to get to his level.
Except for one wide receiver, he's not here no more, Darrell Greenbell.
Well, it's because you probably knew a lost cause when you saw one.
Yeah.
The person that I like most, the offseason move that I've liked the most so far was hiring Mike Groh to be the new wide receivers coach. Because as many concerns as I might have about Doug Peterson, let me tell you something. This coaching staff is starting to add some really, really respectable assistant coaches to it. John DeFilippo is already really respected around the league. He's the quarterback's coach. That's a guy that people around the league talk about as a future head coach in this league, John DeFilippo. And your dumbass is over here talking about how he came from Cleveland a year ago. Oh, but this guy came from the Cleveland organization. Blah, 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 blah.
I don't know, dude. We'll see what happens.
Oh, it's still a problem that he came from the Cleveland organization. Bro, he's been in like 4 other organizations too.
Cleveland hasn't won in how many years?
Who cares?
It's a lot of years.
Johnny Manziel can't even get an NFL tryout. Johnny Manziel was throwing touchdown passes when DeFilippo was his quarterback's coach. I'm just saying.
And I'm just saying, too. We'll see what happens here, too.
Why does it matter what they won out there? He wasn't the head coach. He wasn't in charge of any of that. He had one job, to make the quarterbacks on that team better. Brian Hoyer was fucking winning football games for that team.
Oh, my God, he was.
Jeez.
Now he's
Right?
now he can't even get a starting
Brian
position.
Hoyer.
Well, he's out in San Francisco, and there's a connection to what happened in Cleveland. Remember who the offensive coordinator was in Cleveland when DeFilippo was the quarterback's coach? It was Kyle Shanahan. Remember, Shanahan left and went and took the Atlanta job because the organization was trying to force Johnny Manziel down his throat and into the starting lineup. And he pretty much told him, this kid stinks.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be an NFL quality quarterback. I'm not working with him if that's who you're going to push into this role and say he has to be the guy.
I'll go to Atlanta and play the
I'll
Patriots
go to
in the Super
Atlanta
Bowl.
where there's all this offensive talent and I get to go do my thing.
Yeah.
And he's worked it into a head coaching job. So,
Who does San Fran has? Was it Matt Barkley and Brian
Hoyer's
Hoyer?
out there. Hoyer's
Yeah.
out there.
Hoyer.
And that's it. Those two,
Yeah.
right?
If Kirk Cousins ever hits
Oh,
free
and
agency,
C.J. Beathard. That's the other one.
C.J. Beathard out of Iowa, the University of Iowa.
Completely forgot about
If
Beathard.
if Kirk Cousins ever hits free agency,
He's going to San Fran.
that's I think
Yeah.
I think Kyle Shanahan's trying to make a deal with Kirk Cousins before they even think about drafting anybody or something like
Yeah.
that. But I'm just saying, think about the quarterbacks that were there: McCown, Hoyer. Those are all guys that DeFilippo won with in Cleveland, or at least I don't want they didn't win a lot, but they overachieved. They were better than they probably should have been.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were better under DeFilippo's guidance than they were anywhere else. I'm a big fan of John DeFilippo, and I'm a big fan of him on this staff and continuing to be on this staff because it eases the concerns that I might have about Doug Peterson at the moment. My big concern is always that, a bad head coach can stunt the growth of a good young quarterback.
Yeah.
You've seen that happen throughout the history of the NFL. It's happened multiple times. It just has.
And that's why I think it's kind of smart for Dougie P to say something like that because it takes some of the pressure off Carson and some of the spotlight off of Carson, just for Carson to go out and do his thing on Sundays.
Perhaps. Again, though, okay, so then just come out and say that we're a Super Bowl team. Like I don't understand all the comparison. That's why I think this is. I would agree with Povey. I'd agree with Rob if he came out and said, this is a Super Bowl team. You don't have to believe us. You could think we're crazy, but everybody in this complex is 100% on board with that. We believe this is a Super Bowl caliber team, and we expect to be playing for a Super Bowl this year. Those are the expectations. That's bravado.
Yeah.
That comes out where everybody kind of turns their head sideways. Is like, is he serious?
Yeah.
But you know what? It gets the attention where it probably should be, which is we want to be talked about in that type of conversation. Like you want to be talked about as, hey, did you hear what they just said? They said they're a Super Bowl team. You want to be in that conversation. That takes some of the attention off the players. It's going to be putting the attention on a guy like Doug Peterson who made the comment. All the questions about it will be directed at him. Good. Now it's good, objective complete. You know what I mean? We took some of the pressure off my young quarterback, and I've got all the pressure on me.
Yeah.
But this isn't really taking any pressure. All this is doing is making him look stupid in some ways. Again, you saw the reactions, right? People maybe are looking too much into it, but it's a completely different conversation if he comes out and says this is a Super Bowl team. People are having the same conversation, like, is this guy serious? This is not a Super Bowl caliber team.
You know what? Yeah, I would rather have him say that than the
But you
90s
view it
Packers.
differently. But you
Yeah.
view it differently because you view it as, you know what, though? I'm not going to be mad that he says he thinks we're a Super Bowl team. What do I want him to come out and say we're 8-8?
Yeah.
I'd rather him come out and say we're a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, I'd rather have him say that than we're a 6-10 team.
But don't come out and compare us to the 90s Packers just because you were a backup quarterback on that team.
Yeah.
It's illogical.
But I'll tell you this, he has been around some greats. Tell you that.
He backed up Brett Favre.
And Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon's not great.
I know. Great if you were talking about the greatest team in NFL history with the 85 Bears.
If you're talking about greatest personalities to ever play the quarterback position, yes, I'm with you. Jim McMahon was an absolute nutcase.
Yeah, he was.
Jim McMahon, greatest personality to ever play the quarterback position, hands down.
It's playoff or bust this year. Playoff or bust. And if Dougie P don't make no playoffs, you're on the hot seat like that.
You know who I'd like to see call plays next year?
Who?
Deuce Staley. Because Deuce Staley came out recently and made the comments that he feels like he's ready for the next step in his career.
Right.
He wants to become an offensive coordinator at some point. He feels like he's ready for that next step. That's a guy that you see the ambition, right? He wants that type of role.
Let's see what you can do in preseason.
He's ready to embrace that type of role.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a role in preseason.
I guarantee you.
The players love him, so.
The players do love him. And I
Yeah.
guarantee you, on 4th and 1, even if we decide to go for it, I guarantee you Deuce Staley's not calling an end around to Nelson Aguilar on 4th and 1.
He's calling a 4th and 1 right up the middle with
He's
LeGarrette
going to hand
Blount.
it to LeGarrette Blount,
Yeah.
and we're going to, go pound away and get that first down because that's the way it works.
Yeah.
I would
Stupid-ass
feel
end around.
more comfortable going into this season if Doug Peterson wasn't going to be the play caller, but he is. Tom, we all had a conversation with Tom during the break. I agree with Tom's point there that he feels like Doug's a guy that this team has rallied around. The players really like playing for him. The players really like him.
He's a player's coach.
He's a player's coach and all that. Okay, all that might be true. And that's a lot of times that is a good thing. But he doesn't have to call the plays. Okay, so what makes him a valuable head coach is the fact that he's that guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy that relates to these guys, that these guys come to and trust, and he's the player's coach that these guys love playing for. That's what makes him a valuable head coach. So you got how many good assistants on this team?
A lot.
Let them have more responsibility. You be the guy that handles and deals with personalities, and you be the guy that deals with, rallying the troops and getting them to all believe in one another. You be that guy.
Yeah.
And then let Frank Reich call the plays.
And if Deuce Staley wants to call some
Or
plays,
let Deuce Staley call the plays.
Yeah, let him do it
Since
in
he's really adamant
preseason.
about wanting that role.
yeah, let him do it in preseason. See what he's got.
If you want to be involved in play calling, there's always, just like Doug was involved in it with Andy in Kansas City, right? You can always have multiple people
Yeah.
involved in play calling. So you don't want to hand the reins over to Deuce right away, but you bring Deuce into the equation. And maybe you have Frank Reich and Deuce Staley work together to call plays.
It's going to be interesting this year.
Yeah.
Like how much, is this a control thing or is this Doug, because I don't look at Doug as a control freak either. Like I don't think Doug's one of those guys that's going to micromanage a situation so badly that it ends up doing more harm than good. I don't think he's going to be that guy. So I don't think him wanting to call plays is a control thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think with Mike McCarthy out in Green Bay, it was a control thing. Remember McCarthy gave away play calling duties for about for a year or two?
That.
And then he came out,
hated
and once he
that.
took back play calling duty, he said, I'm never going to give away play calling duty again.
Yeah.
If I had Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback, he's calling plays, and I'm not touching play calling. But like, Aaron, you do your thing.
Yeah.
You know this playbook better than, anybody else.
Yeah, you know this playbook better than any.
Step up to
90%
the
of
line
the people
and
here.
decide what you want to do. You call plays. I'm not calling anything.
You run the show.
I might give you multiple options. And then you go from there. But that's a control thing. But if you're McCarthy, you've won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. He's got something to lay back on.
I can sit here and play that card and say, no, I want to be a control freak. I'm going to micromanage this. I've got a Super Bowl ring, so I'm allowed to do that. Sean Payton did it in New Orleans for a long time. He called the plays, and then he gave over play calling duty to, I believe, Pete Carmichael Jr. was the offensive coordinator out there.
Yeah, it was.
When they were winning Super
Yeah.
Bowls, and Pete Carmichael Jr. called offensive plays for a couple years. Then Sean Payton took that duty back and decided, I'm calling plays. But once you win a Super Bowl, you can do that.
Yeah.
I don't remember Sean Payton ever calling an end around on 4th and 1 either.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's things that goes in this to me. Like Doug did nothing to make me feel like he is worthy of calling plays going forward. It's not like he called any. It's not like there was any game that Doug
Well,
called.
I'll tell you this. He looked very overwhelmed this year.
I don't want to say he looked overwhelmed.
He did, though.
He had a few games where he just looked.
He looked lost in the sauce is what he did.
The
That
Bengals,
Bengals game was the
the
biggest
Bengals
one
game,
that sticks out.
I have no idea how that happens. To go down, like, that's just, and I would just hope that you could just push that away as, listen, there's no excuse. We just had a bad performance.
Yeah.
They weren't ready to play. I didn't have them ready to play. It was just bad all the way around. My game plan was bad. I didn't have them ready to play, and we didn't come out ready to play. It is what it is. But outside of that Bengals game, I can't remember any other situations like that. There's a few situations involving play calling, but I can't remember any situation other than the Bengals game where I legitimately felt as if the team just came out and was not ready to compete and was not ready to play. But it's not like there was any time throughout the year where I watched Doug's sequence of play calling or anything like that, and it got me excited. And I felt like, look, there's some potential. Look how we just called that series right there. That was a 12-play series. They went 92 yards on 12 plays. And you see how we synced up this call with that call with that call. I never at any point saw anything like that.
Yeah.
I saw the opposite. I'd see one really good play call where I'm like, oh, I like that play call. And then it gets followed up with like something stupid. We're like, why not piggyback off of that play call that you just made and call something that piggyback off of that and is an even better play? Like,
His play calls are hit or miss.
right, like,
It's a big hit or miss with Dougie
but
P.
it's a very vanilla system. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, there's nothing like any head coach should be able to call the plays the same way. Like, it's not like you blow me out of the water with a sequence of play calls that you made there that is like, listen, that was really impressive.
Yeah.
They had them on their toes. Like, was there any time you watched an offensive series last year and was like, wow, man, play calling had the defense on their toes the entire time that series? Like, not once can I remember a situation like that. You know, now it's his first year, so I got it. Okay, give him this year to, I got to give him this year to call plays before I can sit here and 100% judge whether or not I like his play calling. But there was nothing about it that I liked last year, and I just don't see the reasoning. If Frank Reich is here, if Deuce Staley here, if John DeFilippo's here, you've got 3 guys right there. Like, why do you have to be in charge of play calling?
Yeah. Well,
so what's Frank Reich's role?
Well, Frank Reich was calling some plays last year, but
Was he?
was doing half of it. Well, was doing more of it, I should say. Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, it's...
Or Frank Reich could just be standing there looking pretty with a headset on.
Well, I think he's involved in game planning and all that, but come game day, I think Peterson's calling the plays.
Yeah, Frank Reich wouldn't do an end around on 4th and 1, would he?
No.
I would hope not.
I don't think so.
Forget about, hold on. But who, what? This is my whole point with that, though. So let's just assume that Doug Peterson makes that play call. I don't want to hear anything from anybody. There is no other play caller in the NFL, whether it's an offensive coordinator that's in charge of calling those plays or whether it's a head coach in charge of calling those plays. No other play caller in the NFL is calling an end around on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Nobody. There's not a single play caller.
I'll tell you this, Dougie P loved his bubble screens too last year.
Well, that's
Yeah.
nonsense, and that's got to go out the picture now. Alshon Jeffrey's here. Enough with the stupid-ass bubble screens. Enough. Really. Too much of that shit.
Hollow Bullet, Josh Huff ain't here no more.
Too much of that shit. Because, first of all, the only person it worked to was Darren Sproles.
Yeah. That's the only person you had.
And if you want to try to run it with Aguilar, okay, because Aguilar's the same type of explosive player. He used to try to run that shit with Jordan Matthews.
Yeah.
And DGB.
There you go. That's our head coach, baby.
Like, you don't run a screen pass to Jordan Matthews. Like that. He's not explosive.
No.
He's not fast. He doesn't have a quick first step.
Takes him 4 seconds to get off the line.
He's not agile. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing about Jordan Matthews that, screams, throw me a screen pass.
The thing that I'm be looking at closely on Nelson Aguilar this year is 2 things. Can he catch the goddamn ball for 1? And number 2, the biggest thing is can he get separation this year?
Yeah, but him getting separation was never his
It
problem.
doesn't matter, though, dude. It doesn't matter. His separation is terrible.
Is it?
It is.
That wasn't his problem.
That was the biggest. That was
He didn't drop passes because he didn't have separation. He just dropped passes because it was in his head. How many times, dude? You talk about he can't get separation. They ran 5 different times. Each time he dropped the football too. How many times you remember this play? 3rd and 3, quick slant. Nelson Aguilar right in the hands, and he drops it. All he has to do is catch it, and it's a first down.
Like, see, and I don't.
The problem with that play wasn't
guys,
that he wasn't open. He was wide open.
I know these guys are humans, but dude, you get paid to catch a freaking ball.
But this is what I'll say about Aguilar, and this is why I
seriously,
think
you get paid to catch a ball.
Tommy thinks Aguilar is going to have a big year this year, a breakout year,
and he better.
And I agree. I think Aguilar has a big year this year. He breaks out. He finally looks like the guy that we all wanted him to be.
Yeah.
Why? Well, one, Mike Groh's here, and that's a big difference. Mike Groh breeds confidence in his wide receivers. He always has. Alshon Jeffrey had his 3 biggest years under Mike Groh. Brandon Marshall had 3 huge years in Chicago under Mike Groh. Anywhere Mike Groh's ever been, receivers have big years. Kenny Britt just had his biggest year under Mike Groh last year.
Yeah.
And that team stunk.
And Kenny Britt got a payday
He did. And now watch him go catch 50 passes again.
for Cleveland.
And be a complete head case.
Yep.
And not, ever sniff 1,000 yards again. Mike Groh does this. He gets the best out of receivers. If you're helpless and you can't be fixed, you're DGB, and they just release your ass.
Yeah.
There's a reason Aguilar is still here. There's a reason outside of just, if you released – it's more than just the cat penalty you'd face, because Aguilar's going to play a lot. And if they weren't confident that they could fix him and that he'd be a good player that made an impact, he'd just be the 5th receiver. He'd never see the field.
Yeah.
He's going to play a lot, which tells you that they believe he can make an impact on this team.
And especially with
Hopefully
Aguilar.
Matt Collins can make the team too.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Collins will make the team.
They're definitely going to both make the team.
Hollins is going to
and
play a lot on
Aguilar.
special teams
Yeah.
to start with.
Hollins and Aguilar are probably going to be the special teams guys, because I know they're trying to phase out Darren Sproles because it is his final year. So they're going to start adjusting those roles. So it's going to be 3 people that are probably going to fill in the role of Darren Sproles with Matt Collins, Nelson Aguilar, and Donnell Pumphrey.
Yeah.
Aguilar's probably your fourth receiver. Torrey Smith's probably your third. But that could change at any point. You know, if Aguilar starts producing,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, you're going to be here long term. Torrey Smith isn't, so Aguilar becomes your 3. But this is a guy that caught over 100 passes in a single season in college at USC. It's not like his problem is that he has bad hands. He knows how to catch.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Matthews has a case of the dropsy sometimes. He just got bad hands. His hands aren't natural. I think Aguilar naturally has pretty good hands. That's how he caught as many passes as he did in USC. Aguilar's problem over the past year has been up here. Once it gets into your head that, oh, I better not drop this pass, the first thing that happens is you drop the pass. So they just got to get him out of his own head. He's got naturally good enough hands where I don't think a problem is going to be him being able to be a productive receiver catching the football.
He better catch a lot of balls this year.
They got to get out of his head.
Tell you that.
If he can get out of his head, and hopefully that number will get out of his head. Now he's a different number. Clean slate. Start over, Nelson. You're no longer number 17. Different number, different player. It's the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. We're brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, certified public accountants at 301 Oxford Valley Road, 215-369-3300. Also brought to you by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs, 703 on the Black Horse Pike in Glendora, 856-939-2030. Email sportsoutletnj, comcast.net. Visit the website sportsoutletinc.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer, LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer, LLC, Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
This is the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. Talking Eagles, training camp about to start up. A lot of confidence, obviously, throughout that NovaCare complex, which isn't a bad thing because confidence breeds confidence and that type of thing. Tom commented on the Facebook post and says, he actually agrees with Doug that this. See, I think Tom's looking at it differently. He looks at the comment and he's actually taking, and he's right in a way. Like, don't take it so literally.
Yeah.
What Doug's just trying to do is show that he's got confidence in this roster. Okay, I agree with that. We'll agree about that. Absolutely. I want you to come out and show that you've got confidence in this roster. But you can do that without sounding foolish. You can come out and say, we think we're a Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody has to believe you, just like nobody believed Rex Ryan when they said, when the Jets said they were a Super Bowl team, and then they came within one game of going to the Super Bowl. So what happens if you come out and say, well, we're a Super Bowl team, and then you make a deep run into the playoffs? Even if you don't make the Super Bowl, it opens people's eyes, and you get credit. Hey, listen, give credit to Doug and to that team preseason. This is what they said.
Yeah.
They said they were a Super Bowl team, and that was the goal. It wasn't just smoke and mirrors. They honestly believed it.
And they almost pulled it off.
They can't honestly tell me they honestly believe they're just as good as the 90s Packers. They're just not.
I'm telling you, I think all he's doing is just taking the spotlight off of Carson a little bit and put it on himself. That's all he's doing, dude. I don't think he believes they had the talent. Well, he might believe they had the talent.
No, I think he really does believe it, like in a sick way.
Yeah.
He really does believe it.
But I'm telling you, man, I think he's just taking the spotlight off Carson just a little bit.
The concept that all he's really trying to do is breed confidence in his football team. Well, that's correct. Of course, all he's trying to do is breed confidence in his football team. And, hey, I believe in them. We believe in one another. This is a good football team. Of course.
Yeah.
Just like Rex was trying to do the same thing, what we talked about earlier when saying, hey, I guarantee you we're going to the Super Bowls this year, and pulling out the magazine with his wife in it and talking about the model, and I'm married to a model just like Tom Brady is, just like all that was. But that's bravado.
Yeah. It's outlandish.
This isn't bravado. This is a foolish way of trying to make a bravado-like point. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, I just don't, that's, and like, it's, if you're Doug, why say this? Nobody was going to agree with you.
Yeah. Make headline news.
It was going to sound foolish. Daddy's probably going to call him and curse him out and be like, listen, I'm just getting done a ham sandwich. Douglas, don't you ever compare one of your football teams to that 90s Packers team. Don't you ever do it.
I'll tell Uncle Jeffrey to stick you in that closet again.
Like, don't you ever do that again. That will, no matter what. Like, don't you ever do that. It will never be the case. So, I mean, I agree that he's trying to build confidence in his roster, make them believe that they're that good of a football team. That's all fine. So then just come out and say we're that good of a football team.
Yeah.
Now you got all this other nonsense going where you look stupid and foolish. And to outsiders, how do you think outsiders are looking at this? We're in here, there's Eagles fans, we can't determine whether or not we like Dougie P long term yet. How do you think outsiders are going to look at this when they look at a guy saying something like that?
And by bye week, he's like,
they're just going to
when is our bye week?
I don't know.
Bye week is like week
10.
But what it does is it makes them look foolish. So what ends up happening is what Jeff Stadelman says: motivation. But the Packers made the Super Bowl, and won the Super Bowl throughout during that time. So pretty much if you got to at least make the playoffs here, because if you don't, he says bye Doug Peterson, you're fired. I agree with that sentiment. If you don't make the playoffs, he should be fired, but he just won't be. So
He's
I don't want to have that
He's the
hypothetical.
puppet, man.
He's Jason Garrett. He's Jeffrey Lurie's Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
He's the yes man. That's
Which
Uncle
really
Jeffrey.
shouldn't excite you, because there's been a ton of talent out in Dallas,
Yeah.
and Jason Garrett's barely been able to get them to
Harry
win more
Rose-
than 9 games in a
Harry
season.
Roseman's the stepdad.
Pretty much. Howie Roseman is who's Jerry Jones' son? Stephen Jones? Yeah, Stephen Jones.
Stephen Jones.
That's the son out there in Dallas that helps run shit.
Oh.
So you got
I was gonna come
Jeffrey
up with some
Lurie, he's
stupid
Jerry
joke, but
Jones.
no.
Okay, Howie Roseman, that's Stephen Jones. All right, and Doug Peterson, that's Jason Garrett.
Yep.
Just like there's
We're the
nothing,
Cowboys 2.0.
there's just nothing that like there's nothing that should excite you about, like, if Jason Garrett excites you as a head football coach, there's something wrong with you as a football fan. And that's kind of how I'm viewing Doug P right now. Obviously, can you win with a guy like that? Of course. The Cowboys just went 13-3 a year ago with him as their head coach.
And then they face that.
But
boy
all
Aaron
he
Rodgers,
is,
though.
all he is a puppet.
Well, I'll tell you this: the Cowboys ain't going 13-3 this year.
No,
Not with that
they're not.
schedule.
But
No way.
with this lot, like Tom says, because it's all about Carson. Okay, he's a franchise changer. I agree with all that. He 100% is.
Yeah.
Let's hope then that the head coach doesn't hold a guy like that back, and let's hope that we have a similar situation to what happened out in Dallas. Dak Prescott didn't have a rookie year the way he did because of Jason Garrett. That's nonsense.
It's a goddamn offensive line.
Dak Prescott had that type of season because a lot of things went into it. Yeah, the offensive line. Yeah, the great running game. They've got a lot of good assistant coaches on that offensive coaching staff.
Yeah.
Now, that's also very similar to what you have here in Philly. Solid offensive line now, trying to build a solid running game to go along with it. You got him a playmaker now out on the outside, and Alshon Jeffrey, just like Dez is out there in Dallas. And you got a lot of highly respected assistant coaches. John DeFilippo, Frank Reich, Deuce Staley, Mike Groh. Greg Lewis is no longer coaching up your
Thank God.
receivers,
Thank you, God.
So the one saving grace I have when I look at it is I look at this coaching staff in general, and I think this coaching staff in general is pretty solid.
Yeah, I like this coaching
Like
staff.
up and down, you've got a lot of like really respectable assistants on this staff. That's a good thing, because they're usually the guys that are coaching up these guys in practice and all that. It's DeFilippo that's right there breathing in Carson Wentz's ear during practice.
Yeah.
Studying every move he makes. Not Doug Peterson. That's John DeFilippo.
Now, if this is true, and what I heard is that Doug Peterson and the coaching staff is going to be only looking at the number ones, while like Deuce Staley and everybody else is going to be looking at the 2s and 3s.
That's what it's
to the
looking
whole
at right
training
now.
camp.
Yeah, and apparently a lot of the players actually like how it's set up, mainly because of kind of increases some of the competition a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's looking like for training camp. They're going to break them up first and
See,
second team.
that's stupid, though. Deuce is your running back coach. There's no reason he should be working with the second team. That's stupid.
Well, I might
Like,
be
he's
wrong,
up here
but
evaluating my first team, too. Like, I don't like that.
Well, I might be wrong, but I mean, I know they're
No
doing-
wonder he's demanding
I know-
a bigger role.
I know, like, half of the coaching staff is looking at the number ones the whole time. Like, the ones are going to be going up against the number ones, and then the 2 and 3s are going against the 2s and 3s the whole entire training camp. Because, I mean, as right now, you already know who the starting 22 are.
right.
It's just about who can fill in the gaps. Who's the rotation players now?
I don't like that. See, no wonder Deuce is over here clamoring for a more important role, demanding more, authority and more, he wants more, more power.
Yeah.
He wants more responsibility. Is the best way to put it. Yeah, we'll have you run the second team at practice.
Thanks, Doug. If I just came to your office.
Fuck you, Doug. Like,
If I just came to the office and asked you if I could
watch
play
him end
sometimes.
up in Kansas City as Andy's new offensive coordinator next year.
Wow.
Watch Deuce. Deuce is going to jump ship. Like, first of all, why would I show any loyalty here? Like, that's the guy that coached me my entire coaching career.
Yeah.
Let me go there and be his offensive coordinator.
Go coach up Patrick Mahomes.
Since I would.
Gunslinger,
Wouldn't
bro.
you?
He's a gunslinger.
Let me tell you, Mahomes might be a guy to keep an eye on. John Gruden, Sean Payton, and Andy Reid all in love with this kid. How about this for an inside story? I just heard the other day. Apparently, Payton and the Saints were going to take Patrick Mahomes at 12. That's why Andy Reid traded up to 10 to take him.
Okay.
Because the Saints were going to take him.
Really?
That's how much Payton liked him. Think about the quarterback guys there. Gruden, Andy Reid, Sean Payton. All three of them love Patrick Mahomes that much. Gruden just said he thinks Mahomes is the best quarterback in this draft class. That might tell you something. Keep an eye on that kid 2-3 years down the road, because he could end up being a special, special player. Too many good quarterback guys and good quarterback coaches think so. This is the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. Not that I care, because Carson's here, and we've got our own special one. That's all we care about. Monday, training camp. Frank, you're going to be there, right?
Yes.
Rundown, A2DRadio.com. Frank will be representing A2D Radio at the Eagles training camp. We'll get our first-hand knowledge throughout the next couple weeks from him. We were brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City. Easy to get to in minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway, 6037 on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township. For Zach Burr, Ralph Delavecchio, Frank Vespi, we thank you for tuning into the Rundown. This is A2DRadio.com, the worldwide leader of real talk.